New Deep Dive.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a subject that really challenges how we see reality. We're looking at Krzysztof Jackowski, often called Poland's most legendary clairvoyant.
Right. And we've got some fascinating material to work with. Bits from a YouTube interview, personal stories, even, official documents.
Exactly. Our mission really is to unpack his journey, someone who claims they can see things others can't. Where did these abilities come from? What obstacles did he face? And, what impact has he actually had?
And what's so interesting here, I think, is it's not just about a skill, is it? It's about a life, a really personal, sometimes quite startling experience.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try to connect the dots, maybe between early trauma, these unexplained events, and what it even means to be, well, aware in our hyper-connected world. You might have a few aha moments, I suspect.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. The sources say Jackowski's childhood. Well, he didn't have these abilities then, but it was marked by some pretty specific traumas.
Yeah, his family lived in Tuchow, right near this old German morgue. His dad actually worked there, dressing the dead.
Wow, that's intense for a kid.
Totally. Daily funerals, this constant sense of death around her.
Yeah.
He even talked about being afraid of dying young, praying in gardens near a lake.
So could that early exposure, that constant brush with mortality, could that have somehow, I don't know, primed him for what came later?
It's a really interesting question, isn't it? He remembers having this thought as a kid, almost optimistic, like, don't worry, when you die, you'll just wake up and think, damn, that was just something, and I was so scared.
Like he was already questioning the finality of it all.
Maybe subconsciously, yeah. Grappling with existence beyond the physical, even back then.
Okay, so fast forward a bit.
Well-
When did the actual clairvoyance kick in? Because it wasn't from childhood.
No, he says it came on suddenly, really suddenly, around age 25 or 26. And this is during a really tough time in Poland.
The Bolshevik reforms,
Mm.
early 90s.
Exactly. Huge economic changes, lots of financial hardship. He was working two really physical jobs, like 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Grueling. And struggling with sleep, too, right? Terribly. Severe insomnia. He was terrified of being late and losing part of his bonus. Just immense pressure.
Just during one of those nights.
Yes. One of these nightmarish attempts to fall asleep, as he put it. He gets this. Not a voice, he says, more like a sudden deep understanding.
Telling him what?
Fetch water. Tomorrow there will be no water. Just like that.
Yeah.
And then immediately this super clear image pops into his head.
An image, like a photo.
Yeah, he called it postcard-like.
Yeah.
In color. A specific street in his town, Sucho, a big hole dug in the ground, a yellow excavator, workers. Very specific.
Did it happen?
The next morning, 8 a.m., his wife confirms no water. Later that day, 3 p.m., he walks home and sees the exact scene, the excavation, the digger, everything.
Whoa. Okay, that would be a shock.
A massive shock. But he said he didn't immediately quit clairvoyance. It was just weird. Too real to be a dream, too specific to be coincidence.
Did he have more experiences like that?
Yeah, a few more flashes, as he called them, that turned out to be true. But one particular incident really changed things for him. He called it very unusual.
Okay, what happened?
He's finished his second job. It's late, maybe 10 p.m. Sitting alone on a bench, a guy comes up, asks for a light for his cigarette.
Right.
As the man lights up, Jackowski gets another image. This one, black and white, though, also like a postcard. An old woman, an old man, a horse-drawn cart, dirt road, and a truck hitting the cart.
Just like that, out of the blue.
Completely. So Jackowski stops the guy, describes the vision, and then asks him, are you from Silesia?
And was he?
He was. Totally stunned. He confirmed this awful accident from his past in Silesia. His mother died in it. The old man, his father, perhaps survived. The horse died too, just like the vision.
My goodness, so it wasn't just a random future event like the water main.
Exactly. That was the key insight for him. He realized it wasn't just his vision. It was like an emanation, he said, from the other guy's mind, from his trauma.
So he was reading the man's past, or his thoughts about it.
Something like that. Reading someone else's thought, or event, as he put it, that connection to another person's deep experience.
Yeah.
That was the real start of him understanding this ability. Wasn't just random flashes about the future, but something deeper, more connected.
Okay, so once he starts realizing this ability he has, how does he even begin to deal with that, especially back then?
Well, initially, he sort of tested it out on friends. He described it kind of strangely, like closing his eyes and feeling like he was sucking something from their foreheads.
Right.
Then he'd tell them things about their lives, events that apparently really surprised them with how accurate they were.
But Poland in the 80s, that wasn't exactly a welcoming environment for this kind of thing, was it?
Definitely not. Communist era, very skeptical. He mentioned people were worried he'd be seen as, abnormal, maybe even schizophrenic.
And yet, he tried to start an astronomy club. That seems oddly normal.
It is odd, isn't it? At the local House of Culture, the director, a party guy, Mr. Conziella, was apparently famously skeptical. Jackowski quotes him saying something like, "If Jesus and Mary showed up in my office, I still wouldn't believe them."
Huh? Okay, so did the club even happen?
Surprisingly, yes, Conziella allowed it.
But it didn't stay about astronomy for long.
Not really, no. It quickly became focused on Jackowski's abilities. He started talking about cases he'd worked on, things that were getting into the local papers, and suddenly, the House of Culture was apparently besieged. Hordes of people turning up every week wanting to see him.
Wow, word got out fast.
It did. And that early public exposure, that's what eventually led him to his first interactions with the police. There's a whole other fascinating chapter.
Right, the shift from just sort of exploring it personally to applying it in a more official or at least practical way.
Exactly. That police connection marks a real turning point.
Okay, so let's talk about that first police case. How did that actually come about? It started with a stolen van, right?
Yeah, a uke van. Apparently quite valuable back then in Poland. A friend of his, an artist, brought over an acquaintance whose van had been nicked from a housing estate in Chicago.
And they just gave Jackowski the key.
That's what the source says. They gave him the key, and he got a vision.
What did he see this time?
He described the van being on a farm in a village somewhere. An older couple lived there. He called them grandparents. And he also saw a young guy with long, dark hair, but who was also almost bald.
Long hair but almost bald. That's specific.
Very specific. The owner was pretty skeptical, apparently, but he went off to check anyway. He came back 3 or 4 hours later, totally stunned, and carrying a box of chocolates for Jackowski.
No way. He found it.
He did, at his own parents' farm, in a village called Gladowo, just like Jackowski described. The older couple were his parents, the grandparents.
And the long-haired bald guy.
That was the key, is the owner's son. He was due to report for military service that very day. He had long, dark hair, but he'd shaved it all off that morning so the army wouldn't shear him.
Ah. So he was long-haired but now bald.
Exactly. The son had borrowed the van without asking to go to a party at his grandparents' place, left it there, and walked home. Didn't tell his dad.
Incredible. That detail is just, wow.
Yeah, Jackowski said that was another shock for him. He still wasn't really calling it clairvoyant, but he understood then that he could somehow read an event or access someone else's thought or situation just from an object connected to them.
And that's how the police found out.
Pretty much. When the father went to the police station to withdraw the theft report, he told them the whole story about Jackowski finding the van. That was the first time his name officially landed on law enforcement's radar.
So this leads us right into the mechanics of it all. How does he say these visions actually happen? What's the process like for him?
He describes it as very complicated, but also conservative, meaning he doesn't make a big show of it.
Right. He prefers to work alone, doesn't he?
Yeah, usually without the person involved being there. He said the process can seem very different, or even off-putting to people watching. It's not a performance.
And he uses personal items. Clothing, watches.
Yes. Something belonging to the missing person. He talks about needing to smell it, press it to his forehead.
Yeah.
Imagine drawing something from it with his forehead.
Drawing something out, like information
Ugh.
or energy.
It sounds like connecting to the person's essence, their scent, as he put it. Not that the object itself is conscious, but it holds a link, a trace.
But it's not like he can just turn it on whenever he wants.
No, absolutely not. That's crucial. He insists a vision is independent and always a surprise. It's not a predictable process he controls.
He said something like, you don't are a clairvoyant, you are one at times.
Exactly. It comes from somewhere else, he feels. Not his own thinking mind. He even admitted he sometimes doubts his own abilities, wonders if his memory of past successes is, deceptive observation, because memory can romanticize things.
So there's an inherent uncertainty, even for him.
Definitely. It's not a tap he turns on. It's something that happens to him, often unexpectedly.
Okay, so given how extraordinary all this is, you're obviously going to get skeptics. How does he respond to people who just flat out don't believe him?
Well, he's 62 now. He's had major heart surgery.
Mm-hmm.
He basically says he doesn't feel the need to convince anyone anymore.
He thinks science backs him up somehow. You mentioned quantum physics earlier.
He does bring that up, yeah.
No.
He suggests that quantum physics shows that parapsychology exists. Now, that's his interpretation, linking phenomena like entanglement or non-locality to his experiences. It's, let's say, a controversial leap for mainstream science.
Right, it's a big claim. So he's not offering scientific proof himself, more like pointing to areas of science he feels might eventually explain it.
Pretty much. And he flips the burden of proof. He says a real skeptic needs to actually disprove his documented cases, not just say, I don't buy it.
Like that incident with the Skeptics Club.
Exactly. They wanted him to do these, well, tests. Guess coin flips. Find hidden people in a city. He called it idiocy. Refused point blank. Said it was disrespectful given his track record.
And he challenged them directly.
He did. Offered them all his documentation, police reports, news clippings, and said, go on, invalidate it. If you can, I cease to exist.
And
Silence. They never replied. He tells another story about a university lecture where skeptics showed up to protest. He offered them the first hour to debunk his files. Nobody took him up on it, and apparently nobody left the lecture for 2 hours.
so a lot of dismissive skepticism, but maybe not much direct engagement with his specific case evidence.
That seems to be the pattern he describes. But then you have things like that Japanese TV competition.
Ah, yes, the Asahi TV thing. That was different, wasn't it? A structured public test.
Completely different. A Japanese film crew actually came to his town, Chicho, gave him clothes from a missing Japanese woman, Noriko. He had 90 minutes.
And what have you come up with?
Incredibly specific details. A bookstore where she worked. A tower-like building with a spiral, serpentine ramp. Each floor parking lot. He saw her sitting in a car with a smoking boyfriend about halfway up this parking structure. And he saw a blue plastic trash bin with a lid. Very specific bin.
And the Japanese crew's reaction?
He stopped filming immediately, started talking really excitedly. He thought they were angry at first, but no, they said it was enough he'd qualified.
Because the details match.
Presumably. Then later, in Tokyo, they took him to the exact parking garage he'd described. They found her car there. Inside, a half-smoked cigarette. Turns out she didn't smoke. New Adidas shoes in the back. And the blue trash bin he'd described. It was missing from its usual spot.
Implying?
The conclusion they drew was she was likely abducted from the car and possibly put in that bin. It was a chillingly accurate vision, validated under pretty controlled conditions.
Okay, let's talk more about the police documentation, because there seems to be a contradiction, doesn't there? There's that official 2000 report saying clairvoyants have negligible effectiveness.
Right, that's the official line. Very dismissive.
But then you have these other documents, actual letters from police departments, press clippings.
Exactly, and they paint a very different picture. There's one really crucial letter, dated 2013, from the police headquarters itself, the Missing Persons Search Center.
What does that one say?
It explicitly states that their records show that in at least 3 different police regions, Mr. Jackowski's assistance was used with positive results. It mentions disappearances, even a murder case. And significantly, it says, in 2 cases, families requested police use clairvoyant help, and bodies were found in locations indicated by him.
So that directly contradicts the earlier blanket dismissal.
Completely. It suggests that while the official policy might be skeptical, on the ground, individual departments or officers facing dead ends were using him, sometimes at the family's request, and getting results. There's a clear disconnect.
Let's look at some examples. Those Alston River cases are quite striking.
Yeah, that was a young man who disappeared after going out for a smoke. Jackowski's first vision put the body in the river near an artillery street.
So police searched there?
Divers went in, yeah. They found a body.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the missing man. It was a nun, Sister Uberman.
Wow. Okay, so not him. Did they give up?
No, the parents went back to Jackowski. He had a second vision. This time, a different spot on the same river, near Radio Street.
And this time?
This time, they found him, the young man's body. He was lying on a sandbar. The water was low. They didn't even need divers.
Incredible. 2 bodies found based on his visions, even if the first wasn't the target.
It really highlights the persistence and maybe the iterative nature of his process sometimes. Then there's the Warsaw police officer case.
Right, where he was contacted by another officer about a missing colleague.
Yeah. An initial photo sent by phone didn't work. No vision. But later, an officer physically brought him the missing man's black T-shirt and another photo.
And he got the vision in a shopping mall.
Zodi Tarasi, a busy mall in Warsaw, holding the shirt to his forehead. He instantly saw this area, single-family homes, a block of flats nearby, and a pond. He said he felt like he fell into the pond in the vision.
And the police.
They were initially a bit cynical, apparently, about him working in a mall food court, but they checked the location he described, and they found the officer's body in that exact pond.
That must have made news.
Big time. It was highly publicized. And these aren't just anecdotes. Jackowski provided stacks of documentation, police letters, newspaper articles about finding a man missing for 7 months, a woman from Wuhan. He specifically asked that these be checked, verified as real.
Okay, so finding deceased individuals is one thing and clearly documented. But what about finding people who are still alive? That seems even more impactful.
Absolutely, and he has documented cases of that too. Those are the ones that really hit home, I think. The potential to actually save a life.
Like the Marianka case. That one sounds intense.
Extremely. It happened just a month after Jackowski himself had serious heart surgery. A mother suffering from severe postpartum depression vanished from Marianka near Elbląg. Middle of the night, 3 a.m. Took her sleeping baby with her.
Oh, God. Her family must have been frantic.
Beside themselves.
Yeah.
Police, helicopters searched all day, found nothing. Then towards evening, someone emailed Jackowski the mother's photo.
Did he get a vision straight away?
Not immediately. He looked at it for about 10 minutes, nothing. Then he stood up, walked a few steps, and bang, he saw it. A rooty stalk, a reddish pond surrounded by reeds. He saw it on Google Maps near Marianka.
On Google Maps? Seriously?
That's what he said. He printed the map, circled the pond, emailed it back.
What did the police do?
They were in a meeting, apparently kind of dismissed it initially, but the family didn't wait. They grabbed neighbors, flashlights, and went straight to that pond.
And they found her.
They did, standing completely still by a tall tree, holding the baby. They thought maybe she'd hang herself at first, but when they called her name, the baby started crying.
Oh, thank goodness. Alive.
Both alive. And we actually have testimony from the mother herself about this.
Really? What does she say?
She confirmed she was in a terrible state, severe delusions, schizophrenia, hearing voices telling her where to go. She said she was totally unaware of her surroundings, didn't even realize she had the baby with her. She genuinely believes God used Jackowski to save them.
Found at 11 p.m., the baby badly dehydrated. Just in time.
Just in time. She expressed overwhelming gratitude, obviously. It's an incredible story. And there are others, like finding an elderly man tangled alive in thorny bushes near a hospital. Jackowski says finding living people is very important work for him.
You can see why. It goes beyond solving a mystery to actively intervening.
Exactly. It's life-saving potential.
So beyond the clairvoyance itself, Jackowski comes across as quite a philosophical figure too, doesn't he? He has some strong views.
Very much so. He's not just a psychic. He's a thinker. He wrote an autobiography, Zmarli Moe, The Dead Speak.
And that sold incredibly well.
Astonishingly well. 100,000 copies in just over 2 months. Apparently, it fetches high prices now. He thinks it resonated because it felt true and sincere.
He has some unconventional ideas about reality, like about UFOs.
Yeah, he doesn't go for simple explanations. He speculates they could even be us from the future. Time travelers observing history but unable to intervene directly because it might cause, time loops.
That's out there, but interesting.
It ties into his bigger idea about human potential. He uses this analogy. We have Bluetooth in our heads.
Bluetooth in our heads, meaning?
Meaning he thinks we humans have massively neglected our psychological possibilities. We focused on creating external tools technology that basically mimic what our own minds could do internally if we hadn't forgotten how.
So we've outsourced our own potential to gadgets.
That's his argument. And it leads him to critique modern society pretty sharply. He sees the internet, for instance, as a double-edged sword.
Freedom, but also control.
Exactly. Creating this kind of schizophrenia of reality where the virtual world feels more real than the physical one sometimes. People working to please their online avatars. He worries about us becoming enslaved to these digital identities.
He made a prediction back in 2019 too, didn't he? About things changing.
He did. He said he felt strongly that 2019 was the last relatively normal year and that from 2020 onwards, things would be abnormal. He sees the pandemic, the global unrest since then, as basically proving him right.
And his concerns about AI, job losses, those are pretty stark predictions. Does he link those insights directly to his visions, or is it more his philosophical take on where things are heading?
It seems like a blend. He definitely foresees major disruption from AI hitting professions like lawyers, doctors, teachers, ambitious professions, he calls them. He even muses about darker possibilities like population reduction being framed as a solution to climate change.
And he points to things like telehealth, bottled water, as subtle forms of control.
Yeah, like small, seemingly benign things that nudge us towards a more controlled, less independent existence. It's quite dystopian.
He also mentioned a specific past prediction published years before it happened.
Right, for an art project, a mock-up newspaper. He predicted a plane crash, similar to a famous Polish one involving General Sikorsky, but this one involving the entire government.
Which sounds chillingly like the smallest crash in 2010.
The parallels are striking. He also claims he predicted America's decline as a major world power. His overall feeling is that people today are just terrified to go against the grain, afraid to talk about the other dimensions of reality, the something else that exists within us.
So after all these years, the cases, the skepticism, the predictions, what's his driving force now? What does he see as his legacy?
He's very clear he's not interested in performing tricks or convincing skeptics anymore. He feels the documented cases, the official letters, the press coverage. That's the evidence. It speaks for itself.
He seems proud of achieving what he has, despite lacking formal education.
Very much so. Proud of challenging the system, in a way. But there's also a softer side. He told this really touching story about a stray cat, Rudzik.
The cat he's been feeding.
Yeah, for 3 years. Building trust slowly, providing shelter and food. He sees that simple act of awakening a feeling in a completely wild cat as profoundly important.
Why? What's the connection for him?
It connects directly to his core philosophy. He says, living for yourself, you lose your life. Living for others, you gain it. He believes our purpose is to respect everything we encounter.
And he links that directly to clairvoyance.
He does. He states very clearly, no one will achieve clairvoyance if they do not become a good person. For him, the ability isn't separate from morality. It's intrinsically linked to empathy, kindness, service.
That's a powerful statement. And he ends with that thought about the man found in Warsaw.
Yeah, that complex case where he felt the deceased man was still sort of present, commenting on the search almost detachedly. They have me now and are crying, but I've been to so many interesting places.
Leaving us with this idea, what if life is a kind of game?
Right. And maybe our physical life is just one part. What if the real measure of us, our eternal soul, as he might put it, isn't about big achievements, but about the small kindnesses, the empathy we show, especially to those often overlooked? It's a challenging thought.
It really is. Wow, what a journey we've taken today. From those first disturbing visions to documented police cases, life-saving interventions, and these deep philosophical insights.
Yeah, we've seen how this perceived gift can be incredibly difficult, a real burden, but also how it's been used as a tool for good, solving mysteries, finding the lost, even saving lives. It definitely leaves you questioning the boundaries of reality, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So as you listening reflect on Krzysztof Jackowski's story, maybe consider his idea. If we all have this potential, this Bluetooth in our heads, what capabilities might be lying dormant inside you, just waiting, if you dare to look beyond the everyday, beyond the obvious?
Subscribe. New Deep Dive. Subscribe. New Deep Dive.